Thanks for tuning in to the episode of The Aydin Show, sponsored by our friends at Casa Homes. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Aydin Show. The word Aydin means enlighten, and that's exactly our goal. We're here to enlighten you, share knowledge and wisdom, and inspire our youth. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm Ahmet Oruch, the host of the show, and today's guest is Omar Morsi. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How are you?
Good, brother. How are you?
Great, man. Can't complain.
Thank you for inviting me to your studio.
It's great to have you here, man.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
So, Omar, we were just in the office discussing a few things about building, and we thought we'll come in here and share a bit of, what we know about the building industry, about real estate. You yourself, you're a real estate. How long have you been doing that for, man?
So it's been, just over 10.5 years now.
Wow, long time.
Yeah, long time. So, it started when I was just shy of 21.
Yeah.
So you can probably guess my age now.
Exactly.
And I've always been around this area. So in the 3064 postcode, so looking after Roxburgh Park, Craigieburn, Mickleham, Calcallo, Donnybrook, Oaklands Junction a little bit over there with the farms, the acreages over there. It's been really good.
You're working for Barry Plant at the moment?
Barry Plant, yeah.
And that's in Craigieburn?
Our office is in Craigieburn.
Okay, and how long have you been with them?
So my entire career.
Wow, from the get-go, okay.
Straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we initially had 2 branches, one in Roxburgh Park and one in Craigieburn.
Yep.
So I actually started off in Roxburgh Park and we closed that down just because it made more sense just to have the one office servicing that postcode.
Okay.
And I think it was a few months later, moved up to the Craigieburn office, we closed Roxburgh Park, and so I've never jumped ship, as they say in the real estate game.
Yeah.
I've always been just loyal to the group, Barry Plant.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever I used to dream of owning a beautiful house with a gorgeous farm, your face used to be on there, man. I used to look at some of these properties in Mickleham, and Omar Morsi's name's just under it. So why is so many people selling farms and selling it with you? I mean, is it something that you're an expert in, or is it something that draws people to you?
Yeah. Look, I don't know. I can't say it's my looks because I don't think I'm very good looking, but I think for me, I've had longevity in the area.
Okay. So,
I mean, I think the first acreage or farm property that I ever sold was maybe back in 2012. So from there, I mean, in real estate in general, you get what we call a listing, and you use that listing to get another listing, so to speak. So I've just worked my way up from there.
So you just built trust with these neighbours, and they've been coming in and seeing a familiar face.
Exactly right. So from the first one that I had in the area, I got myself familiarised with all the local neighbours in the neighbourhood, etc., and built a relationship with people, nurtured a relationship with people, just sort of went from there.
Yeah. Mickleham, a suburb a lot of people are familiar with because it's the most quickest growing suburb in the whole of Melbourne.
Yeah. I think maybe even Australia.
Could it be Australia?
I'm pretty sure. It's definitely at least Victoria.
Yeah.
But it could have been Australia, I think, last year or the year before.
Okay. So, because the neighbouring suburb, Craigieburn, I mean, it's amazing what they've done there, man. The amount of infrastructure they've spent, the amount of money they've spent on infrastructure. So like the Hume Global Centre, the swimming pool that's worth like $50-something million, a shopping centre.
Correct.
You've got a golf course that's been there for a while. But, it attracts a lot of young families. So it's looking at the population of Craigieburn, I think it's about 55,000.
It's massive.
Yeah.
It's massive. And now they're looking at, I'm sure you saw the proposal of dividing Craigieburn into 2 suburbs.
Wow.
So I think they're looking at that whole Mount Ridley section of Craigieburn and possibly renaming it Mount Ridley.
Okay.
And then the other part of Craigieburn just being Craigieburn. But it's a massive suburb. It's got everything you need, like you say. It's got Craigieburn Central. It's got a couple of other little shopping centres. It's got plenty of schools, private schools, public schools, sporting facilities, and everything around it is growing as well.
Yeah. And so do you think that the majority of the people that are attracted there, like young families, what's most of the customers that are coming to you?
Yeah, 100%. So look, our main demographic of people that we deal with in that area tend to be the first home buyers.
Okay.
So the young families, first home buyers, people, Craigieburn, it's an entry level type market, and it's also an affordable market. So if you're looking to buy your first home, Craigieburn is very, very attractive, especially when you look at the distance it is from the CBD.
Yeah, 30 Ks, or just under, I think.
Yeah, just under 30 Ks. Yeah. Great value for money. If you try to go to the west or you try to go, obviously, eastern suburbs or southeastern suburbs, you're going to pay an extraordinary price with a similar distance from the city.
Yeah.
So it's so for that reason, it's attracted a lot of first home buyers. But it's also great for people who are upgrading because, again, great value.
Yeah.
I mean, for let's say 650 to 800, if you're upgrading, you get a lot of bang for your buck.
True. And what's some of the bang for the buck?
These days we've got a range of things. I mean, for example, I've got one at the moment in Craigieburn, an upgrader type property, 4-bedroom, 32 squares on a almost 650 square metre block, which we're anticipating to go around that $700,000 price range.
Okay.
Put something like that in, let's say, if we're going to stick to the northern suburbs, Glenroy, you're probably going to pay, around $1 million.
Yeah.
For something like that. And you're 15 minutes further out?
Yeah, exactly.
It's great value for money.
It's worth the drive.
Yeah. And then obviously as you go higher in the price, you get a lot more. I mean, for, let's say, anywhere between 8 and 850, you can get 50 squares.
Yeah. And it gets even cheaper when you go towards Mickleham, which is just up the road. So it's not even that far off.
And then Mickleham, yeah, exactly right. And then Mickleham as well, it's representing good value for money as well. And as you go that little bit further out, Calcallo and Donnybrook as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of developments happening there now with the Cloverton estate. There's a lot of new estates popping up there now. Stockland have got a new release coming up. I think it's called Kyella. It's a bit further up compared to where Cloverton is in Calcallo.
Okay, is that where they've got that huge playground? Have you seen it?
They do have a massive one.
They've got this massive playground. I've taken my kids a few times there, and I just got astonished to see how big this thing was. They've got 3 massive slides. I went on one, and I actually nearly peed my pants. I had a bit of fun too, so yeah, it wasn't just the kids having fun; it was also me. But
they're the excuse, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. Look, for the guys that want to buy a farm, own a farm, it's also very affordable to do that in Mickleham.
Yeah.
I mean, what's some of the price ranges and what's the sort of acreages available at the moment?
Acreage. So with the acreage in terms of residential, when I say residential, like as in to live in acreage in Mickleham, because you've got a lot of acreage as well that's more so for developers, like land that's, within a PSB, urban growth zone, etc. So that's a whole different market. But with the, let's say, rural living type property or greenwich property where somebody would be buying an acreage to live in, you've got what we call the old side of Mickleham, which if you're coming up the Mickleham Road towards Sydney, that'd be on the left-hand side, towards Donnybrook Road and past Donnybrook Road, etc. So, and they tend to be a little bit more undulating. You were actually looking at a property there once with me at 130 Bardwell Drive.
I was, that's right. Yeah, I think that one was like 1,129 square. Is that the one? Oh no, we're talking about the farm, aren't we?
The farm. So that farm was 16 acres.
Yeah.
And what did that sell for? 1,330,000, which is great value for money. But it's an undulating block.
What does that mean?
So it's hilly.
Oh, okay.
Hilly. So you don't get much flat area. Like that particular block, I think had 2 or 3 acres of flat area.
Yeah.
And the rest of it was undulating.
It's usually plenty for people.
Exactly right.
I mean, if you've got some animals, you've got sheep and whatever, cows, whatever, you can put them on a hilly farm. You're not going to have any issues with that.
Correct. It just it depends how hilly it is,
Yeah.
This one wasn't too bad. You could definitely have animals on it. The previous owners did have animals on it. Some of them are just like that, so you can't have anything.
Okay.
And it's more so, for the scenic views, etc.
So you said what, 1.2 mil for?
So that one sold for 1,330,000.
Okay.
Which was good. But then, for example, if you're on the other side of Mickleham Road, so the right hand side of Mickleham Road, going up the Hume towards Sydney, that's a lot newer. That side is a lot closer to Craigieburn. So that whole estate is literally off Mount Ridley Road.
Okay.
So if you live there, you get to benefit from being 5 minutes or less drive from all of Craigieburn's major facilities.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more sought after, that part, and you'll pay more there. So over there, the land is more so, around that 2.5 acres plus. So it doesn't get any smaller than that. And I mean, look, you're pretty much paying around $1 million entry level just for land.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, properties over there can, go up to 3.5 million if something's really nice. Obviously more land, bigger house, etc. So, but, once upon a time, Mickleham, that's all it was. It was just acreage.
Yeah. It's like, I guess, Beveridge is, do you still see that as you come off Beveridge? You still see a lot of houses on farmlands as you go into where they're building now.
Correct. So, and there's still a lot of opportunity in Beveridge, Yeah. Beveridge is growing area as well.
Another one,
Another one.
All right, so some of the impact, let's talk about COVID. Is there any impact at the moment that you guys have seen in terms of real estate?
In the marketplace? I mean, look, nothing really too major. I think we're very, very fortunate with the area in the market that we deal with.
Okay.
What I mean by that is, I think because we do deal with, predominantly that first home buyer market, for some reason, this whole COVID thing doesn't seem to faze them. I mean, like I said, right now, as I'm sitting here with you, my phone hasn't stopped ringing.
Yeah.
This whole day, inquiry after inquiry after inquiry. In the last 24 hours, we've had 6 offers on properties. It sounds funny, but I think we're actually selling more houses now as private sales than what we were prior to COVID, through an auction market.
Yeah.
So it hasn't really impacted us that much. With the top end properties and acreage as well, it's become a little bit more difficult, but we're still getting the deals done.
Okay, so with this new home builder grant,
yes,
the government home build, they're offering 25,000K. First home buyers are also getting they're a bit lucky where they're getting that 10K on top, so it's working out to be $35,000 that they're receiving from the government in initiatives.
Correct.
Has that helped sell a lot of blocks?
100%.
Are you guys do you have many available, or what's going on with them?
Yeah, so that's the next thing. So the blocks have gone off the charts.
Yeah.
Any title block has gone through the roof.
Yeah.
So again, first home buyers, even people that obviously want to buy as an owner occupier, they're still getting those benefits. The $25,000, not the first home buyers grant, but the first. So it's still a major benefit. I mean, we've actually had a couple of mutual clients as well that we've been dealing with each other.
Yes.
So they've been using Caser Homes as the builder for them.
That's right.
I mean, it's come highly recommended from me. I mean, obviously we've done a bit of business over the years, and you've done well by me, and I've referred you to other people.
Well, it comes to honesty, doesn't it, brother?
It does.
As long as you do well for people, you're honest, you treat them with high end customer service.
100%.
Well, yeah, exactly.
100%. So the feedback that I've received from you guys has been brilliant.
Yeah.
It has. It's been the service has been great. On the ball. A lot of the sort of issues we've had with our customers when we refer them to builders in the past is, once you sign the contract, there's no communication after that.
Yeah.
It's call after call to the builder, trying to get a hold of them. When are we going to start? You guys haven't started yet. I haven't picked my colours. Whereas the feedback that I've received from my clients is, gee, Omar, before I could call them, they've called me to say, hey, what time are you free to come down to the showroom to check the colours?
Yeah.
We're going to start. We've got construction booked in for this date. We're going to start, which has been fantastic. Again, you guys have been on the ball, quick, efficient, very diligent. And that's important to me because obviously, it does fall back on me as well in a way when I refer somebody.
Yeah.
And for them to get the same service that I give is important. Is
there any property that you recommend at the moment that you've got in your hands at good prices? Can you mention a few?
We're going to be here all day.
Yeah. Well, let's look at some blocks because I did have a look at one with you just recently. Yeah. I was looking for a really big size block in Mickleham. I think you had that 1,100 square.
Yeah.
Corner.
So I think it's 1,360 square meters from memory off the top of my head. So that's a nice big block in the Waratah estate.
Yeah.
In Mickleham. So just off Donnybrook Road there. That represents really good value for money. Excuse me.
No, that's okay. That's all right.
That represents really good value for money. I mean, that one there is about, I think 479,000 is what we're asking for.
Yeah.
You build a dream home on that, you'll be set for life. So that's a beautiful block.
At one stage, we were thinking about building our dream home and having our office built on the other side, because you've got a really big frontage on that.
Correct.
And you've got a really nice view. You're facing a bit of trees and parks
Parkland.
and
Yeah. So that's open parkland just across the street. So that'll be an unobstructed view. So it almost gives you that acreage feeling, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Without being on acreage.
Definitely.
Less maintenance.
Yeah. What's most of the customers that are coming for you? What are they looking for when they're coming for blocks? What's sort of sizes?
So the majority of people that we deal with at the moment, I would say, I mean, obviously we get all sorts of stuff, but I find the easiest stuff to sell tends to be the smaller blocks. When I say small, it could be as little as 150 square meters, or it could be up to, let's say, 300 square meters. Okay. So those kind of blocks work well for two major clienteles, people like yourself, builders, and also first home buyers, because they're small, they're cheaper. By the time you slap a house on it, it's probably not going to cost them more than 600,000, which is the sweet number. Because anything over 600,000, the first home buyers are paying stamp duty.
That's right.
Anything at $600,000 and less, there's no stamp duty.
Yeah.
So they're not paying stamp duty. They're getting $25,000 from the government for the building grant.
Yeah.
A $10,000 first home buyers grant. So the savings are really, if you look at it that way, maybe $45,000.
Okay. Have you had any customers have issues with banks? How are they at the moment? We know at one stage they were really tight.
Yeah.
They were really, strict with rules of lending. Yeah. How do you think they are now?
Look, the banks. I mean, from our experience with our current sales, the banks have been pretty good. The only sort of downfall some lenders have at the moment is time. Okay. So, from the time a customer signs a contract up until approval date, traditionally wouldn't be more than 2 weeks, where some, I won't name which ones, but some of the major banks as well are taking, up to 35 days.
Wow.
So that's where we've had some issues, where it's not that the deals don't get done, but they just take a little bit longer.
Okay.
We sell something today, it might be approved in a week or two normally, not anymore. It might, depending on the lender, it could take a month.
Not a problem. Okay. Omar, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, brother.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
your time. Guys, subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the like button on Facebook. Till next time. Assalamu alaikum.
Right,